Hi everyone! Before we get started with today's SAP training video, I'd like to take just a few seconds to introduce you to PostNow.ai, an SAP data automation platform designed to make your everyday SAP work faster and easier. With PostNow, you can upload data directly from Excel into SAP for vendor masters, material masters, business partners, journal entries, and many other SAP processes without custom ABAP development. This significantly reduces the burden on your IT team by eliminating the need to build and maintain LSMW objects, custom upload programs, and one-off custom ABAP developments. It's also an ideal solution for S/4HANA migration projects, helping you migrate legacy data into SAP quickly, accurately, and with confidence. PostNow also includes powerful SAP reporting capabilities. You can easily join SAP tables, build reports without complex development, or simply describe the report you need in plain English using our AI query pilot. It automatically generates the required query and delivers the results in seconds with no coding required. If you'd like to see how PostNow can simplify your SAP processes, request your free trial today at postnow.ai. And before we begin, one more thing. As a thank you for supporting our channel, we're giving our YouTube viewers free access to more than 20 complete SAP training courses. If you'd like free access to all courses, simply comment "Access" below and check the video description for the next steps. Now, let's get started with today's SAP training video.
The next concept we'll discuss introduction to internal tables. So in this you are going to learn internal tables, types of internal tables, and how to declare internal tables, populating of internal tables, and the processing of internal tables, internal table types, and how to create with the types and the keywords and structure types, internal table clearing command, how to clear the commands by using internal tables. In this learning objectives, after completing this chapter, you will be able to understand what exactly the internal tables, what is the purpose of the internal tables, and how to declare that. To create what are the header, right, with header, without header, how to create a work area in internal tables, and how to use it in a declarations. To implement the declaration of internal tables, sorting and processing, how to sort internal tables and internal tables. To understand what are the field strings and the declaration of ABAP programs and internal table keywords, and to create ABAP programs based on internal tables. The purpose of the internal table, right? Internal table is a temporary table created at runtime and discarded when the program ends. Internal tables are created on application server RAM. It is a temporary table. It is created at runtime, and the structure of the internal table also created at runtime. By using ABAP query, we have to, through select statements and the queries, based on that you have to populate the records into internal tables. To modify few details of the tables, right? For example, we want to reorganize the content of the table, right? In R3 system, there is a typical R3 data is available in our tables, right? And related with our DBMS concept, you cannot work directly on that R3 tables because maybe sometimes you may lose the data, so you cannot recover, you cannot recollect it. In such cases, to modify the few details of the table, right, you cannot modify directly. That's what you have to copy that content, and for your information, like you have to store in internal tables. From that you can modify or can delete or you can append whatever records. So when you want to display the few details of the table, then we'll go for internal tables and the calculation of the subset of the table. Okay, in these situations we are going to create internal tables. It provides a means of taking data from a fixed structure, means a table, and storing in a working memory area in ABAP. It is like internal table concept, fulfill the functions of arrays in a normal C. A very important use of internal table is for storing and formatting the data from database table within a program, so you can prepare your own database, your own records. The data type and internal table is fully specified by its line type, key type, and a table type. A line type, it indicates like it can be any data type, and the data type of internal table is usually the structure type of the table, and each component of a structure is a column of an internal table. And when you say like a key type, it is identified like table rows. There are two kind of, like there is a standard and user defined keys. So we'll work out practically what exactly line type, key type, and etc. So before like this internal tables declaration, so make sure that there is a determine how ABAP access these individual entities, right, entries. Then three types of internal tables. One is standard table, sorted table, and hash tables. So frequently we are going to access, like generally we are going to create on a standard internal tables, right? So in internal tables type, first one is standard table. The standard internal table contains have a internal linear index. Based on that it will work, and records are accessed by indexes or a keys. You can access both the cases. The response time of the key access is proportional to the number of entries how you are creating, how you are getting that. The key is always non-unique, right? So when you say sorted table, always save just sorted by the key. It having like an internal index format. Then records can be accessed by table index, or it can go with the key field. It uses internally like a binary search algorithm based for access the records. The response time for the key access is algorithmically, right, proportional to the number of tables entries. Key can be unique or it can be non-unique also. So next, third one is hash tables. Hash algorithm like a number of like linear index based. There is no linear index, only accessed using its key. Key must be unique and uses hash algorithm for accessing the records internally. When you create as an internal table as a saturated hash tables, based on that algorithms it will work. The response time is always constant. If you remember this chart, so that I can easily understand what kind of internal tables, which is a process, and etc. There is a standard table, sorted table, and hash table. Index, when you say index based on a standard table, is index based, and a key, standard table will have a key value is not unique, preferred access mainly on index based. A sorted will have index, key, unique, not unique, but mainly on key based. Hash algorithm will not access any index based, it is always in a key based. The key value should be unique, then a key only it contains. Now we'll start how to declare the standard internal tables, types of internals. So when you start internal table concept, so you have to declare with header line or without header line. When you see with header line, default work area or header will be created by system automatically. So when you say without header line, as a user you have to create your own work area to work with that. And there's mainly the three steps. One is declaration of internal tables, populating of internal tables, processing of internal tables. So we can declare the standard internal tables or three types: with header line, without header line. The third one is internal table with field string. That's nothing but using types concept. So before that, let me clarify the points. What exactly the with header line, without header line? So when you say with header line, so header is nothing but a work area. It always contains a single row at a time. The internal table body can hold some multiple records. The structure of the header, it is similarly if you take any row of the body. Right. For example, we are retrieving the 10 records from the customer table KNA1. Then first row will be added here in a header part. So when you write the keyword append iTab, then each and every row, first row is added to the internal table body, then second row is added. When you say append, always the records added in a bottom level. Right. We cannot modify the internal table body level. You can if you want any insert, delete, modification, you can do it in append like header level. That records will be added to the bottom of the each and every internal table row. So when you say internal table without header line, there is no header part here. So directly all the records are placed into internal table body. Additionally, you can create system is by default providing with header line. There is a keyword with header line, you can create it so that header part will be created. If there is no header, two tables can be nested. We'll see that how to declare internal tables. Declare the standard internal tables with and without header line. For example, here a data keyword, iTab, type, table name occurs 0. This is a syntax. A data is a keyword. iTab name can be type it anything, any internal table name like iTab, JTab or KTab. It is not a keyword. When you place this, it is like a variable name can be anything. Type table name, so which table you are going to access, then occurs 0. For example, here iTab, type Mara occurs 10. iTab Mara occurs 0 or 1. Occurs nth concept will work out. When you create this by default occurs 0, it allocates 8 KB of memory space is going to allocate for your internal table. I said internal table is created temporarily at a runtime. Even though runtime based on the declaration some memory is allocated for your internal table. So overall process is by default this will create as a without header line. As we discussed, this is a without header line. It will create. Now let me clarify the points. What exactly the occurs 0? When you are going to specify the occurs 0? When you are going to specify the occurs number or nth concept? So when you know the fixed content of your tables or records, better go for occurs nth concept. If you don't know like number of records, maybe sometimes 100 or 1000 or 1 lakh, then go with occurs 0. Occurs 0 is a dynamic, occurs nth is a static kind of thing. For example, here look at 10, occurs 10 we have provided. Then for example here occurs 10 allocated 100 lines. Your internal table holds expecting 120 records by using query. Right? Simply occurs 10 whatever you have done, it is multiplied by 2 so that internally it is allocated 20 records, like for example 200 lines of memory is going to associate it directly. Right? In that case, like 120 records you're expecting, but 80 records of the space you're wasting that. In such a cases, so better declare occurs 0. If it is exceeded at least 1 or 2 records, system allocated how much memory space required, only that much will be allocated. No memories, extra memory is allocated for that. Then when do we go for like occurs nth concept or any number? For example, country codes, like assume that 120 country codes or 150 country codes are available in this world. The fixed content, so that the static, so you can write it occurs number or nth concept, so that you can directly, it will not allocate any extra memory space. Next, data begin of iTab occurs 0, data end of iTab. There is a keyword called include structure table name. Don't think structure is not normal. Right here there is a table structure you have to enter. Example is this. Include structure is a keyword, so I'm going to include customer table K1 here. So when you declare like this, then you have to end with the data keyword end of item. It is processed overall is with header line. It will create with header line. In both the cases, we are accessing complete table. Here it's Mara accessed item. Here it is K1, complete K1 is copied in, structure is copied into item. Both the cases is we are accessing complete, so that you can write select star or any other queries. Next. So for example, I don't want to create a complete internal table. So I want to create with the only few fields or few columns. For example, here first field name, second, third, which is reference table 1, table 2, like only one table fields you can access, right? You're not working with the complete table fields. Such a case, you have to declare this internal table syntax. Data begin of item occurs 0, end of item. So specified how many fields you want to specify. Then overall process is with header line. Next, for example, 2 or 3 tables you want to join. Assume that table 1, one field, table 2, some fields, table 3, under that some fields. You can create a number of fields here from the different tables so that it is created as a with header line. This type of declarations are useful to create table joins. For example, 2 tables if you want to join, 3 tables if you want to join, then you are going to create this kind of declarations. Right, generally in a real-time cases, this is preferable to create internal tables with types declaration. So when you create a types keyword instead of data keyword, which we used to call as a structure type, begin of any structure name, this is not an internal table. Check, I have commented this double quotes, no occurs concept in this. Because what will happen? If you declare occurs 0, by default system is allocating some 8 KB of memory space for a previous internal table what I have explained. I don't want to create with occurs 0, right? This is not an internal table, this is a structured type because we are creating inside SE38, which we used to call as local structures. Now create iTab, any internal table name, type standard table. Which table we are creating? Standard table of. This iTab standard table of referenced with just above structure. In this structure, there are 3 fields. Now your iTab also contains these 3 fields because iTab is refers to with above structure type. Work areas refers to above structure. In this case, we have created iTab, we have created work area. So when you create by default, system will not create any work area. So this entire process is without work area. So user must be create work area, with that only have to work. Otherwise we cannot work with this kind of things. So we'll work out practically all this what we have done. So let me complete some theory information. Right. So internal table basically it is a kind of type, any table type indexed, the standard and sorted tables are index based and hash tables are not indexed, key based. So generally like the syntax is this: data keyword, name of the internal table, which kind contains standard table, sorted table and hash table. When you say that uniqueness, there is a unique or non-unique keys you have to provide, and the key fields default or header, right? A key field data type like a with header line or without header line, and you have to specify initial size how much you are going to allocate. Right, for example, you are declaring like this: begin of any table name, person number, last name, end of so and so. This indicates a line type. ITAB type standard table. When you say standard table, it is called as a table type. In this, there is a table name with key unique person number, because we are treating this number as a key field. So initial size is 10 record, like a size employee work area table. Right. When you say like internal table, when you declare internal table, so there is a site tab IX. It is quite like it's not a system index. Tab index will print, right, a table of index. Like if, for example, your internal table contains 10 rows, your tab index, it is writing like index numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me clarify this point with example. System fields are used in ABAP program to query the system status. Right, normal, this is for reporting purpose. SYST is a structure to see all the system field. Right, loop at ITAB, we can print it. It will print each and every row of internal table 1, 2, 3 like that. And we'll work out like a parameters how to loop at ITAB and how to print and etc. Loop at ITAB from the into and loop. Right, there is a select statement in internal table. You have to write it. Select star means all the table fields into internal table. Right, for example, table you have created, structure type you have created, ITAB type standard table of above type, initial size, work area. You can create a parameters, right, accepting runtime values for the user. Then select so and so field names from into table ITAB, where country code equals to whatever you are writing P land 1. According to this, you'll get a records. And also you can do some order by ascending, descending. So it is possible internal table by using all that. So it is good programming skills. So always you have to check the size of RC after query. Then if size of RC equals to 0, then it is success. Other than 0, if it is like 4, 6, 8, 12 or 16, it is failure. Because where a query is failure, it is not retrieving any data. Next, sort ITAB by fields. We can sort it directly like this. Check here, there is a provided sort ITAB by country or name one. Sort ITAB, one is ascending, the second one is, you can go with descending order also. Next, populating of internal table. So when you say populating, to get the results or records from the internal table, so right, select star from table into ITAB. When you say into ITAB, so it is required append ITAB and select. But generally we will not write this kind of programs, because we have to write it into table keyword to avoid one record. So let me clarify this point with examples. And next one is select star from table. We are retrieving into work area. That work area one row is added to the ITAB and select. And when it says select star from into table ITAB, all records will be placed into internal table directly without this into work area. Next, processing of internal table. For example, you are working with the 2 or more internal tables. How do you process that? There is a write statement. Directly ITAB hyphen field, you have to write it. Read. So for example, one table is looping, the second table is reading. Then read table, there is a table name, ITAB name, with key, for example, Kunar customer number you are reading. So read that customer number. Right? Or like loop at ITAB, you can read table ITAB based on index number 4 or 3, whatever. Right? System index loops. And also you can do some internal table, modify, delete, and etc. These things make sure that whatever you are going to changes made to the internal table, that internal table values will not be updated in a backend original database table, because internal table concept is just for temporary purpose. First we are capturing 100 or 1000 records into our internal table, because the records are getting from the database placed on your internal table on a program. Right, you are storing on a program level on internal table. After that, your wish, you can delete or you can insert, you can modify that. So this is what it is, deleting from internal table, not from original database. There are internal table keywords, right? One is clear item, it clears header part. It's not a part of syntax, less than, greater than, you can write it. Variable name, internal table can be anything. Clear iTab indicates body. This square bracket indicates the internal table body will be created. For a table defined with a header line, this statement initialized with header for all the defined table without work area. This statement works in the same as refresh. When you say refresh, the content will be deleted from the internal table. Right, when you say free iTab, when you write it this free iTab, then the memory is deallocated for whatever associated memory is available. For that, it is deleted. Store this free space. Now look at how to create these internal tables with practically. We'll see that. Go to SC38. There is a T code, and here you can start ABAP internal tables. Click on create, provide short description, select this executable program because we're writing a report executable. Click on save. So for timing, create a local object or you can create a package. Click on local object. Now here you have to start creating. Right up. So prepare like a tables. Let us say table. I'm going to create a para table. Right, I'm creating so data keyword. So begin of iTab occurs 0. So let me create with occurs 0 first. End of the same name, internal table name, you have to end. Here you can write it Matner type Mara-Matner. So Mara is a table name for Metal Master. You have to next, for example, MBRSH type Mara table MBRSH. Next, I will create one more field, MTART, that is material type, Mara-MTRT. Next, for example, BRGW type, Mara-BRGEW. This is a grass weight. NTGW type, Mara is a table name -NTGW. Right, this is what a declaration of internal table. You can have a comments like this. Go to the table SE11. Open the table, which table you are going to access the records. Click on display. Now we'll get the table, Mara table information, Matner. Copy this description. Right here you can comments like this. So let me copy this. Just you have to write like short descriptions here. Next, what we have accepted like MBRSH, there is a industrial sector. Next, material type. Next we have done with the BRGW, NTGW. There is a gross weight and net weight. Right, so these two fields, one is a gross weight, the next one is net weight. Right, so this is what internal table is ready now. Next, after that you have to write it select options, because range of values I need to enter s underscore matner for Mara-matner. Here S-matner is a special internal table. Select option name. Runtime user can provide a range of information. According to that, you'll get the row. Next, after that, you have to write select query matner. You have to get the data from the right side field names. Right, you can write it same line or next line also. MBRSH. Next MTRT. Next BRGW. Next NTGW. Right, I can write it into, right, directly first we'll write it into iTab from, so Mara table. Then where class you have to write it where matner equals to, it is s in equals to underscore s underscore matner. Right, this is a where class, because first we are capturing into iTab directly. Right, in such a cases we have to write it append iTab, then and select. After this you have to print loop at iTab. Loop should be and loop. Here you have to print it write statement iTab hyphen matner. Next, second one, if you want to print MBRSH, there is a industry sector. Next, MTART material type. Your wish, if you want to print only 3 or if you want to print all. Let me print all. iTab hyphen BRGW, then iTab hyphen NTGW. Right, ends with a dot. Now save this program. Click on syntax check. There is no syntactical errors. Click on activate. Runtime object is activated. Click on continue. Now execute this program. User can select runtime which records you want, how many records, range of records. Provide 1 to 100. Click on run. There are no materials in this range or length, because we have to see that press F4 the material ranges are starting from which number. Right, this is called as a search cell. Click on continue. Right, here selected some materials. Right, any other material number. Right, click on continue with this. Click on continue. Can select some range because some dummy materials are there. Click on execute. I guess these materials are not populated, so we'll remove the first 500 hits and I click on continue, so that you'll get, and can drag it this, some dummy entries are done. Some badly done some operations in this. Or we'll see don't provide anything. In this we'll observe which data records are there. Without providing this, you can execute. You will get any materials are there according to that. There might be some changes that has been done in the database, right? Look at here, you are getting some data. So this is what your output. So click on back, right click on enter. Generally we have to enter 1 to 100. We'll see that database in a level, so some records are not populating. So somebody in a functional team, they have done some modification in this. So we'll identify the Mara table and execute directly without providing anything. So click on run this. So I have executed Mara table. I'm going to see that which kind of records are there in this. Right, so look at this, the materials are starting from, so 23, some records are there, right, can select this, double click on this, so back to your program, you can enter this, and you can change the range like 1 to 1000. Now run this code. There's some issue with long entry, somebody modified with @ So right, according to this you'll get a number of range, number of materials when you provide that. Right, so this is what the internal table concept. Right, we'll observe in a debugging how the records are moving. So for example, select this, put a breakpoint, right, execute this. Now execute or provide range. Right, your size of bus is 0. Then go to tables. Right, initially enter the table name, which table you have done, iTab. Right, check here, it is created structure. Now this is called as with header line. Okay, right, here it is, one header is added. Go to desktop 3, right, press F5. Right, here the cursor is available on append item. Look at what is available in a first row is added here, 400 to 800. There is a material is there, 400-800. One row is added. This is called header. Header is a hat symbol shown clearly. Next, go to the desktop 3, append item. One row is added. After append, one row is added to the internal table body. This is called as internal table body. Right, if you keep on press F5, second record is modified in a work area. Check. So it is captured into header first, iTab. When the control is moved to the after append, one row is added to the internal table body. So like this, when you press F5, keep on press, row is added. 1, 2, 3, 4. This indicates as a tab index. Check here, tab index is incremented 4. How many rows are there? That many times your tab index is incremented. So keep on press, right, or else directly can execute this at any point from the debugging. You're able to see the records and number of records. But here, next example, I don't want to provide append iTab and end select. Let me comment these 2 lines. But when you comment these 2 lines, you have to write it. There is a keyword called as a table. Right? In a real time, you should not use in a end select, because select query, it is hitting too many times your database. For example, 1000 records. 1000 times it is looping from table 1 row and placed in internal table, second row, like this. That's what you have to add with a table keyword. When you add a table keyword here, then it is not required append and select. Now activate this. Whenever you have done any changes, activate, run this. So what we have observed, like a 400 800, right? We'll see that 400 900. Click on execute. I guess there is no range from this. Directly can execute this. Right, go to the tables. First go to the desktop, press F5, click on this F5. Directly it is printing, it is ready to print. Look at now here, so everything placed into iTab. Click on a table, enter your internal table name, iTab, click on enter. Then you're able to see that, right, all the records are captured into iTab at a time, right? So many records, right? It is captured 135 records, 141 records, right? Simply by adding iTab, so we can avoid this. And back to the desktop one. For example, if you want to print how it is printing, double click on Matter. You're able to see Matter here. Double click on second, double click on third, fourth, fifth. Now when the loop is started, it is records are picked from the first row. Like first row, it is started printing from, like lost in first row. This is like a first, second, like this. Go to the desktop one. Right, press F5. Look at here, first row is printing. Right, keep on press F5 here. Some system function is executed. Come out from that. Can come out directly. Can execute second one. Right, it is incremented like this. Right. So this is the way you have to see the records and execute at any point of time. So you got the results. So this one is good to avoid this second. Right. So what we have done this is a few tables, few records. Right. For example, if you want to start with all the fields, right, comment this. Let me create, there is a data keyword, iTab, type, standard table of, or you can directly write it, there is a Mara occurs 0. So by default it will create without header line. Now I am printing with header line. Right. So what is the reason I took this internal table? Because I don't want to work with a few fields. I want to write the query for this complete fields. In such a case, you have to write a star. Right. Select star from already written star. Select star from Mara. Right. We have to write it into, so table iTab. Right. Star means selecting all the fields from Mara table into table iTab. But there is no concept directly, cannot print iTab all fields at a time. How many fields you want, you can print it. Now check the syntax, activate, click on continue, click on run this program, execute this. Right, now go to, right, press F5. That records are placed all at a time into iTab. So before this, you can observe your internal table is created with structure. Right, check iTab is contained, because we wrote iTab type Mara occurs 0. All the fields it is taken. Right, the complete structure of the Mara is copied into iTab. Now your iTab is also contains all the fields. For example, in iTab contains, right, in a database, look at here in a database level, For example, your iTab contains 222 fields. Everything copied into structure of the field. Through query, it is copied, all the fields. In a debugging, can observe all the fields copied, and also you got the record for all the fields. So this is what with working with all the fields. Now execute this, but we are printing only 4 fields. We are not printing all the fields. The next concept is, I don't want to create internal tables with occurs 0, so I want to create with a structure type. For example, here, right. So let me create with a types concept with a structure type. Types, let us say begin of ty underscore itab. Right, in this end of ty underscore itab. Right, here I am creating internal table. So this is no occurs when we have created with the structure type. It is also called as local types. This is local structure type. So creating structures within SE38 internal programs. Next, you have to create data is a keyword. I am creating itab type standard table of, it is reference with above type itab. Right, this is called as internal table. Next, I am creating data keyword. So work area type ty underscore itab. Because system will not create any work area for this, so we have to create user defined work area. Right, without work area we cannot work with this. Then select options. If you want you can print like a Matner, you can select it. Right, MBRSH. Next MTRT. Next BRGW. Next NTGW. From Mara into table. Right, itab. So where Matner. Right, in this case you cannot print like itab directly, so you have to write it here, loop it itab into work area, because you have to print through work area only. There is no option to print from internal table, because system will not create any work area. Your own work area, whatever you have created, with the help of that you have to create it. Right, here I am printing values through work area. Right, check the syntax, no syntactical errors, activate this. So click on continue, click on execute. Now execute this with all. You are getting the same results, but query wise, performance wise, it is good, because our internal table is referred with a structure type. Structure does not contain any data here, but itab refers with a structure type. itab is not directly deals with internal table. Work area is with the help of this, you are able to do this. So we are going to work with this kind of things, because no occurs 0, no 8 KB. When you declare these kind of things, we are avoiding, so no 8 KB of memory space is not allocated with this type. Because earlier if you do with the begin of itab occurs 0, I said internal table is created at runtime, discarded when the program ends. Even though at runtime That 8 KB I need to avoid that. That's what I have created with the structure time. With the help of that, internal table is created. Right. For example, if you want to create directly without table, look at here. I'll show you the difference between what is system work area, which type of work area we have created. Right. Append I tab. Let us say into append into work area we're taking. Append work area to I tab. First I'm capturing the results one row into our own work area. Then after that appending whatever we got the results into work area to I tab and select. Save this, activate, syntactically check, activate, click on enter to activate. Select there is a breakpoint with the debugging I'll explain. Now run this, execute. We have placed a breakpoint. Right, go through table. Which table you have done? I tab. Look at now here, there is no header hat symbol. Earlier we do have a work area header here with respect to hat symbol. That is what predefined header will be created system. Now if you want to search your own work area, because system will not create your own work area, you have to open in a structure. Your work area name you have to provide WA, click on enter. That work area always contain only one row. Now go to desktop, press F5, write one selected fields and placed into work area. Right, whatever results into work area, look at here, one row is added, work area always contain one row. Right, go to desktop and append work area to I tab. When you click on append work area to I tab row is added one row. Go to desktop one again, repeat the same. Right, it is adding one row from the structure to append, structure to I tab. Right, here you can look at like this, it is added. You can execute at any point of time, but first one is good because all the rows at a time you have to capture. That's what avoid this kind of thing. We have to go with first type, like here, always good tables I tab. It's not required this two because load on from the database each and every record will be captured. Instead of that, so we have to get the data into I tab, then we can work out. But there is no option to print from I tab because we don't have work areas. We have to always print with our own work areas. Save this, activate this, click on enter. So for example here, if you write it like clear I tab, clear I tab. Right, next refresh I tab. We'll observe now. So clear means it will clear the header part, and refresh means the content will be deleted from the internal table. Click on enter. Right, execute this. Provide anything because in our database some records problem. That's what I'm executing with all the records. Press F5. There is I tab. Go through structure, then I tab. It is clear everything. Press F5. Then go to table, then I tab. When it is refreshed, there is no entries in this. Right? It is done. Refresh means the entire entries are deleted. Right? You can observe one more time. execute this. Code is available in a query. Press F5. This is added into here. Right, it is clearing. Before refresh, you can see the results. iTab contains some entries. Write these entries. Go to the desktop one. Right here, where is the control? On a clear. After clear, refresh. After refresh, what will happen? Check entries are deleted. That's what refresh free means. It deallocate entire memory space also. Right, it is refresh means that entries are deleted automatically. Right, this is what the internal table concept. So what we have done with one type, right, execute this. You can see the code. Right, you can put a breakpoint. After breakpoint, you have to delete because per user maximum 30 breakpoints only allowed. The next level we'll see that how to join the 2 tables or 3 tables with respect to internal table. I'll explain that